Well, Jenna, the draft is tonight in the NBA, so it's all basketball on this week's Bud list. Well, kinda. It's kinda, sorta. Because number 1 or number 5 on the Bud list is a first. Kevin Wilds. That's right, Kevin Wilds. You are on the Bud list. You've already abandoned Ja Morant for Patrick Beverly and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now you're threatening to leave the Orlando Magic if they don't draft Chet Holmgren. Here's the deal. You need Chet Holmgren to be awesome, a superstar, and you also need Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero, whoever they draft, to be a flop. So it's a lot of pressure on you, man, because I don't think any of those things are happening.
Okay, hold on one darn second. As Eric Mangini said in his infinite wisdom, you don't need to put out another man's candle to make your own brighter. I can still want Paolo and Jabari to succeed and be great, but I still want Chet to be number 1. And I made a quick pros and cons list, Broussard, on reasons you should take Chet and, the pros and then the cons. First, let's go through the pros. I shot 74% on 2. That's great. He's a great shooter. He's going to be a great three-point shooter. He's got a great handle. Look at this. Another spin move and a dunk. Plays great defense, even though he's a little bit frail. Was 4th in the nation in blocks. He's got great chemistry, considering that he grew up with and won 3 Minnesota State titles with Jalen Suggs. He knows the game. In a recent interview, he was talking about, I got that from KD, but KD got that from T-Mac. I watch a lot of T-Mac footage, and T-Mac was running a similar pin downs, so he studied the game, and he's got a toughness. So there you go. Those are the pros. How about cons? Is a little skinny. Okay, that's basically it. So I don't know. You got all those pros, and you got, a little bit skinny. Magic, do the right thing. Look, be smart. Use your head. Let's go, fellas. Draft Chet. Superstar potential. That's all I got, Broussard.
Wilds, I hope your boy Chet becomes a superstar. I really do. I think it'd be great for the league. But I'm cautious by nature. And so I'm not willing to give that to Chet. If I'm the Magic, I'm sorry, but I'm going to lose you as a super fan. I'm sorry. I apologize for this interruption in the Bud list. Moving on to number 4. Kevin Durant. Decisions. Mike, should I get involved with the Kyrie contract negotiations? If I don't get involved and he walks, should I request or demand a trade? If I demand a trade or request a trade, I could end up in Chicago or Orlando or Sacramento or God knows where I could end up with. So maybe I'll just chill. Tough situation for Kevin Durant. All right, at number 3, his buddy, Kyrie Irving. Decisions. Should I risk leaving the place I love? He's living in the same town he grew up in. He wanted that his whole career. Now he's here and he might leave it. He grew up rooting for the Nets. Now he's here, he might leave it. He's wanted to play with his buddy Kevin Durant. They have a chance to win a championship. Now he's here, he might leave it. And I'm going to leave it all because they won't give me the contract I want. But you know what? I'll take $30 million less to go play in LA where I don't want to be, and to play with LeBron, who I left. How's that make sense? So Kyrie's got a lot to think about. All right, at number 2, someone else with a lot to think about. The Orlando Magic front office.
Yes.
They are, in addition to weighing the pros and cons of losing you as a fan, they have to decide, do we swing for the fences and pick Chet Holmgren, whose upside, he won't be what their other number 1 picks are, Shaquille O'Neal, Chris Webber, which became Penny Hardaway, and Dwight Howard, but he could be a superstar or a star. Or do we play it safe and go with Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero, who also look like they could be stars? So it's a tough decision, because if Chet becomes, Nick, what Wild thinks he can, then they could look bad if they pass on it.
Well, Wilds has broken the seal. Interruptions now allowed on the Bud list, so I'm gonna disagree with you here, Brew. My apologies, because I think you have the wrong front office that's under duress. It should be Sam Presti in Oklahoma City. because this house of cards is going to come tumbling down at some point, and here's why. Sam Presti undeniably did an amazing job early in his tenure, not just in building the team, but in picking the right players. Yeah, Durant was a no-brainer at 2, but a lot of people questioned the Russ pick and the Harden pick, and they were the right picks. He did a great job, got Ibaka, did great things, traded Harden only because the owners made him do it. However, he now is running a scam. And I don't think he believes he's running a scam, but that's what in effect it is. And I am so tired of hearing my media colleagues talk about the best GM in basketball and not mention Masai Ujiri or Bob Myers or my pal Daryl Morey. And instead, Sam Presti. Why? Because you know what a lot of teams could do? Be awful and acquire picks. Not hard. It's actually the easiest thing to do in sports. Not try to win games, take on other teams' bad contracts, and get their picks. But here's why they're under duress, Brew. They now have too many picks, and they now must flip those picks into something. They right now are playing in their rotation 6 guys they've drafted in the first round in the last 3 years. They also have 16 first-round picks in the next 5 years. 16 more coming. 3 tonight, 13 in the 4 years after. You don't have that many roster spots, let alone that many rotation spots. So at some point, they need to, and I think that point is this evening, after they draft whomever they draft at number 2, start packaging those picks for players that can help you right now. Because you have an excellent player in SGA. You actually have, I like Giddey. Dort's fine. Poku's fun. But they won 24 games, 22 games. They've got to start winning. They're halfway through Sam Hinkie's process with none of the criticism of it. And there's talk that, no, they want to be bad again because they want Victor Wembanyama. So at some point, you got to try to win games. So I say they're under more duress than the Magic were.
Well, look, I do hear you about Sam Presti. And he did a fantastic job with the 3 superstars you mentioned, Harden, Westbrook, Durant. And he is riding on that reputation. And I do agree that this whole notion about draft picks, I get it. Draft picks are important. But they have been incredibly overvalued in today's NBA. These GMs sell their owners on, hey, we're no good and we won't be for the next 3 years, but we got a ton of draft picks. Well, here's a newsflash. Most lottery picks don't pan out. Lottery picks, let alone first or second round picks. So I agree with you on that, Nick, but I can't put them on the butt list. They got the number 2 pick in the draft, and I think they're in a good position to take Chet Holmgren. Assuming the Magic pass on him, they can take the risk. Now, he won't become Kevin Durant, but it's kind of like when Portland took Greg Oden and it was easy for the Magic. Wow, we didn't have to make that decision. We'll just take KD and the rest is history. So I think they're in a good position. It's a good place for him to grow. The fan base is patient. He could grow in a small market where there's not a ton of attention on him. So I don't think they're under duress because I like Chet Holmgren there, assuming they take him. All right, but I'm going to go number 1, Nick, and I'm staying in the front offices. All right, and this is not going to be a surprise, but it's the Nets. Nets front office, Sean Marks, they're at top the bud list this week. They obviously, we know the situation. Do we cave once again? We caved and we fired Kenny Atkinson, who we really liked as a coach. You know, we caved and let Kyrie start playing road games even though he wasn't vaccinated. We didn't really want to, but we caved. So do we cave again and show absolutely no background and show that our culture is not that of a winning NBA franchise, but it's that of an AAU team? And our players just tell us absolutely what to do. So they got a lot of decisions to make because, as has been talked about, they could upset their best player, Kevin Durant. And so Sean Marks, a lot to think about. Now, I don't know what you guys are going to say now because you butted in and interrupted and
you took it. We agree.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.